Congratulations, you've made the important first decision to start using a password manager app, and now you're doing your research to understand how to get it all properly set up. That's what I hope to do for you here. We're gonna walk step by step through the entire process of downloading a password manager app, creating an account, setting up your vault, and then using the software the right way to increase your online security. Welcome to All Things Secured. My name's Josh, and since I have to choose one piece of security software for this demonstration, I'm going to be showing you the one that I use personally, which is 1Password. There are plenty of other great password managers on the market, I realize, and even if you're using something different, you'll still probably be able to follow along with me in this tutorial. I use and recommend 1Password because I like their apps, I like their 2FA integration that I'll explain in a minute, and I like the family plan, which allows you to have private vaults for each individual in your family as well as a shared vault for everybody. If this sounds like a good option for you and you want to follow along step by step right now, go ahead and visit passwordsetupguide.com, which is an affiliate link that will direct you to my exclusive 1Password discounts. All right, I assume you're ready to go, so let's dive in. I'm going to start us off from the very beginning, assuming you don't have an account. So we need to create an account with our email address. You can use any email address you want. It really doesn't matter, but you need to be able to get that email because they're going to send you a code to verify the email address. And then the next part is probably the most important part in this whole process is creating the master password. This master password is what's going to be used to unlock that vault on any device that you sync up with your password manager app. And it's the one thing that your password manager, whether that's 1Password, Dashlane, or whatever, does not know. And because of that, this is what keeps you secure. So it needs to be a very strong password, one that you can remember, obviously, but very strong. It needs to be, you'll notice here, I deleted the shorter one and created a longer one because I realized I needed something that was more than 12 characters, that had special characters, uppercase, lowercase, all of those things, numbers. And once you create that master password, they're going to be asking for your credit card. You do get 14 free days with 1Password as a free trial. But if you wanted to, you can even scroll down and create an account without giving your credit card if you'd like. And then this last part's also very important. They're going to allow you to download what's known as Emergency Kit. This looks very different depending on which password manager you use. With 1Password, they immediately give you this to download, which I recommend you either keep in a safe place, print it off somewhere. This secret key is super important, and then you also need to write in your master password so that if something happens to you, that your family members would have a way to access all of your online accounts. All right, now that we've created our account, we have our online login, we're in the online dashboard, and you need to go and get the apps. If you're working on a Mac, you want to download the desktop app for Mac, same for Windows, or for whatever else you're using right now. And when you download directly from the website, the good news is that you don't have to input all that secret key information and your username. All you need to put in is your master password because it's going to come already preloaded since you're downloading it from their website. If you're downloading it from the App Store, it's going to be a little different. You need to make sure you have that emergency kit with you so you can type in all of those numbers, or you can copy and paste it from your online dashboard. After you've installed the desktop app, this is probably what your password manager is going to look like. It's going to be pretty empty, but you're going to see on the side that you might have an option for a private vault and a shared vault. That shared vault exists because I've used a family plan and I can add other members of my family to this and share that particular vault with them. And I'll explain how to do that in just a few moments. Within my own vault, you can see that I can categorize my data into logins, notes, credit cards, identities, and a lot of other categories that I can create, which is entirely up to you what you put in there and how much you put in there. There are three primary ways that you can start populating your password manager with all of your logins. There's the manual, there's the import, and then there's the as-you-go method. Now, if you're the type of person who has all of your logins written down on a piece of paper somewhere near your desk, you're going to want to prefer the manual input method. Click on the plus sign and click login. You can name it whatever you want. Let's pretend we're adding our Facebook account here. And although there are a lot of different database fields available, the three most important that you'll want to focus on here are the username, which is often just your email address, your password, and then of course the website URL. You'll notice that 1Password immediately tells me that my password is weak. And if you saw me type it in, it's a fake password, and it was, in fact, very weak. But if this happens to you, don't let that bother you right now. This is something that we'll address later. We will fix it. But right now, what we're trying to do is get all of our passwords and our logins into the Password Manager app. Now, let's say you're already using another program to manage all of your passwords. Perhaps it's Chrome or Firefox, or it's another password manager app. In each of these instances, there is a way that you can export all of this data and then import it into 1Password or any other password manager for that matter. As you can see in my Firefox browser, which is what I use, they have a menu item for logins and passwords, and then an additional item for export logins. You may have to do a quick Google search to find out exactly how to do it for your particular piece of software, but everybody has the ability to export these passwords. You can export this as a CSV file and then import it into your password manager program, review the data to make sure it's correct. You can ignore any logins that you no longer need and then click continue. While it's importing, you'll see that I'm assigning each column to an appropriate label in 1Password and then ignoring anything else that I don't need, which is basically anything except for the URL, the password, and the login. Now with 1Password, you'll see that I'm doing it here on my online dashboard, but there's also the ability to do it on the desktop app. You can just find import under the file menu. When the import is done, these new passwords will now be synced across all your devices and browser extensions so that they can start being used immediately. Now, a side note here, I would recommend that after you have successfully imported all of these passwords, that you try to remove it from the places. You don't want duplicate copies of all of your passwords just floating around on the internet. The final method for populating your password manager is what I call the as-you-go method, which saves each new login as you log into it. The best way to do this is, in my opinion, is to start downloading the browser extension. This is basically just a little program that gets added to your internet browser like Chrome, Firefox, Edge, or many others. You can search the extension directly in your browser, or you can even find it in the 1Password online dashboard where you can find Get Your Apps. With the extension installed and connected to my vault, anytime I log into a new account, let's use Netflix as an example here. I'll type in my username and password like I normally would, and then 1Password will ask me if I want to save it. You'll notice in this case that I'm saving it in my shared vault, since Netflix is an account that I share with all members of my family. So putting it in the shared vault means that everybody will have access to it. This login is now part of my 1Password desktop app. And if I were to log out of Netflix, the program will now ask me if I want to add the credentials that have been stored here. And of course, yes, I do. Okay, remember those weak passwords that we had earlier. If you want to go through and change some of these to make them stronger passwords, your password manager is a perfect tool to help you do this. Unfortunately, you have to understand that your password manager can't do this for you. You're going to have to manually log into each account, go into your security settings, and then find the place where it allows you to change your password. What a password manager will do is it will help you create a much stronger password. You can do this directly inside the desktop or mobile application, although I warn you to be careful here because you want to copy your old password and either just put it in the notes section here or copy and put it somewhere else, because you were usually required to give your old password when you're creating new passwords. You'll see that 1Password gives me a lot of flexibility to create a password that fits my needs in terms of length, characters included, and so on and so forth. Even the browser extension has a password generator that you can see here that will generate a random password anytime you need it. For me though, I find it's best to allow 1Password to recommend a new random password as I'm filling out the form and then click to update the login entry. What I really love about 1Password is the ability to create time-based one-time passcodes, or TOTP for short. This is a form of two-factor authentication that's usually done using an app like Google Authenticator, Authy, Microsoft Authenticator, or something like that. While there are some security risks to keeping your two-factor authentication codes alongside your passwords, I find that it's just super convenient. It also allows you to have a backup of your 2FA codes, which is something like Google Authenticator doesn't allow you to do. And that's great in the case that your phone gets stolen or lost. Those codes are basically your lifeline for a lot of these online accounts. If you don't know what I'm talking about with two-factor authentication, you'll want to watch my video explanation here. It's a super important security feature. But for the rest of you, let's go ahead and dive into 1Password and see how to set this up. Using Facebook as an example, if I log into my account and visit the Security and Login tab in my settings, you're going to find a whole section on two-factor authentication. Not every online login will have this, but it's becoming more and more common. On your mobile device, you could add this using a QR code, which is what you see on the left. But here on the desktop, it's just as easy to manually copy and paste the code. On my Facebook login profile in 1Password, I create a new field and choose the one-time password option and then paste the code. When you save this, you'll notice this one-time passcode is now part of the login and it changes every 30 seconds or so, which is exactly what it's supposed to do. This code will now be available to you anytime that you're logging in using 1Password. Now quickly, since we're working with 1Password's family plan, I want to explain how you can add family members to that plan, whether that's your spouse, your kids, your parents, or whoever else in your family that you want to add. Most of these password managers that offer a family plan give you 5 family members per account. In 1Password, I need to log into my online dashboard and find the People section on the right-hand menu. I'll add my wife's email address, and no, that's not her real email address, and then click Invite. At this point, she'll get an email from 1Password giving her instructions on how to set up her own account, and she'll be setting up her account in the same way that you've just now been setting up your account. She'll just be a member of your family and not necessarily the administrator. Now, you might have noticed when I set up my wife's account as part of our family that there was also an option for a guest. Let's pretend for a moment that you have a babysitter coming over and you need to give her access to the Wi-Fi, to maybe building codes, give her phone numbers, emergency phone number contacts, and even maybe the login for Netflix or something like that. What you can do is you can create a separate babysitter vault specifically for this and then invite that babysitter as a guest and give her access only to that vault. Now, the downside of this is that this person, whoever this guest is, when they're invited, they will have to download and create a 1Password account. There's just no way around it. It's free for them, but still, it's a little bit annoying. But the plus side is that you have a lot of control over what you share, and then after you share it, you can change or revoke that access at any time. Okay, last but not least, let's set up our mobile devices, which can be done on any mobile device, but I'm going to be showing you on my iPad since it has a bigger screen. When you first download the app, and most password managers are available both on Android and iOS, you'll need to enter the account details, and this can be done manually, or as you see me doing here, I'm going to scan the QR code that I found in my online dashboard. This will fill in everything that I need except for that master password that I'll have to fill out on my own. You'll be given the option to set up biometrics, which is entirely up to you. Again, I find it really convenient, but for higher security, it's often best not to. You'll see that your vault is synced to the device, and now you have access to all the logins you created, such as Facebook, and that also includes the 2FA one-time passcodes that you set up just earlier. The most important thing that you're going to need to do when setting up a password manager on any device is to change the autofill settings. This means going into the Settings app on your device and searching for the autofill option. You may see multiple options here, but you'll want to choose your primary password manager, which might require you to confirm with your master password. And they're also going to ask you if you want to have that automatically copy these one-time passcodes, which I do, but that's entirely up to you. Now, as you're using your device, and let's say you want to log into Netflix again, here's what it'll look like. Do you see right here where it says the word passwords? When you click here, you'll either be asked to input your master password, or as I set it up, I can use my Face ID. 1Password will now autofill my login, and all I need to do is just to click sign in. Awesome. I'm so glad that you're making these changes to your online security, and I hope you realize that security and privacy is an ongoing process. No one piece of software secures you from every threat. So for that reason, before you click away, I have a free security checklist that I'd like to give you that outlines other important changes you can start slowly making over the next couple weeks. There should be a little message you see here that you can click on, or there's a link to the download in the description of this video. And I put a lot of great security content that's actionable and easy to understand on this YouTube channel, so why not just go ahead and click that subscribe button. I got some great content coming up that's all aimed at helping you keep all things secured.